Coming in. Awesome. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to share my screen with everyone. Ba-ba. So this is our evening time for our Region 5 Best Start meeting. As we're settling in, I do want to remind everyone to please sign in the chat box. Make sure you put your name on the Zoom so we know who's here. We really want to make sure we keep accurate recordings of who's here. Also, if you're in need of language, please select the globe below. Remember to mute your mic because we can hear your background noises when we're talking. I'm going to welcome you. Welcome to our Best Start, and Happy New Year, since we haven't seen most of you since last year, and this is our 2023, so Happy New Year. Welcome. And I'm going to turn this over to Miss Sylvia Scott because she's got something for us. Go ahead, Sylvia.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome and Happy New Year. We're really excited to be here with you today as we embark on a new year of action, learning, teaching, and taking the wisdom and experiences of our AV community and then embed it to all that we will be developing and implementing through our Best Start work in 2023. Today, we're here to promote the strengthening of families and the community by having a deeper understanding of Best Start, our structure, and the framework that we are trying to put together towards systems change. We believe that an equitable approach to building healthy communities requires several diverse tactics from multiple stakeholders. Collaboration across a broad range of sectors and groups is necessary to create the kind of healthy communities we want for ourselves and our neighbors. And the experience and voices of our community members, particularly people of color, must be an integral part of the discussions and strategic thinking around sustainable systems change. In December, we spoke and reviewed about the work that we had done in the past 6 to 7 months. And what did that look like? Well, we participated in workshops that helped us learn, share, and teach about different areas that affect us as a community. Together, we participated in workshops such as the Policy Leadership Academy. And this academy brought together thought leaders, stakeholders, and community residents to understand and address local, statewide, and federal issues through the shared knowledge of underlying causes and impacts of current problem-solving frameworks and best practices we could utilize. And also the actions. It taught us about the actions that are needed to affect structural systems change and solutions in our community. The Academy workshops were crafted to assure that the cohort included a range of professionals from varying environments to help us expand and develop our ongoing network of informed and passionate policy advocates committed to creating a healthy Antelope Valley. We also had the workshops for diversity, equity, and inclusion. This series, the vision of this series was really to develop and strengthen an inclusive, diverse, and equitable culture in our community, in our jobs, and in our family circles. We as residents of the Antelope Valley hold the potential to reach goals of inclusivity and diversity in our community. The materials provided through these workshops were relevant and interactive examples that require us all as participants to gather the skills to have these difficult conversations around diversity, equity, and inclusion. Each workshop introduced common language and a basic understanding to implement strategies to work alongside diverse populations and grow in our own cultural humility. We also had the trauma-informed masterclass. We received the tools to change outcomes within a framework that shifts away from that deficit-based approach like, what's wrong with you or what's wrong with me, to really take on a resource-focused mindset of what can support you or how can we support you. The key concepts that were included in this masterclass were ACEs aware, which is adverse childhood experiences. We also talked about trauma science, the resilience building, trauma-informed coaching, organizational chronic stress, and other concepts that we looked at. And then lastly, we also had the Community Heart Academy. Now, this curriculum provided a tailored adaptation of the healing cycles of harm. It curated a collective learning journey where reflection, acknowledgement, and learning from each other can happen. This coupled with the collective process to get to the heart of collective wounds and address the challenges of advancing racial equity, diversity, and inclusion to create the conditions for change within our work and to move Best Start's work forward. It integrated skills and capacity building around diversity, equity, and inclusion, along with racial healing through the set of workshops, experiences, and exercises that assisted us as a group in building that interpersonal and self-awareness skills that are needed to address conflict without us causing further harm. So where are we now? 2023, it's time to roll up our sleeves and taking some of those tools and skills that we have gathered to start creating our toolbox and put them to use. For 2023, there's going to be several things we're going to be doing. We're going to share our partnership framework. We're going to build on our framework. We're going to solidify our partnership structure, and we're going to identify and update our community change agenda priorities. But today, we want everybody to walk away feeling that you have a basic understanding about Best Start and what we're doing, to become familiar with the Best Start framework, and then together work to create a new regional vision statement. And now I'll hand it back to Darrell.
Awesome, thanks, Sylvia. So this is our agenda for tonight. We're going to reveal our poll results, our icebreaker. Then we're going to have an overview of our first 5 LA Best Start, as well as going over the framework of our Best Start team here and our vision mosaic exercise. We will talk briefly about our timeline and then just kind of close it out with some reflections and hear from you. So if you remember at our last meeting in December, we took a poll about should we have additional meetings for Best Start, and the poll results are in. You voted and here they are. Starting in February, we will have two additional meetings. We will meet the first Thursday and the third Thursday of each month, a morning session and an evening session. So starting February the 2nd, you will get invites. You'll see we will start at 10 o'clock, but we'll go for 2 hours instead of the hour and a half, because we do have a lot of information to go over. And we will go from 4 to 6 in the evening. And that again will start February the 2nd, okay? Now we have an icebreaker activity from Tracy LaMonica, and I'm going to stop my sharing and turn this over to Tracy.
Thank you, Darrell.
Do you want me to keep sharing, Tracy?
No, you can not, because I'm going to have Stephanie share my my mini little PowerPoint.
Gotcha.
So thank you so much, Darrell. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I know if you're in Lancaster, it started to rain a little bit, so I hope you're staying warm. Get that hot cocoa going with the marshmallows, of course. We're going to talk about the leadership qualities. We're going to do a little exercise. I'm going to talk about the 11 leadership qualities that, and there's a lot, and we're going to see that at the end of our exercise. But this is the top 11 leadership qualities that most people agree are really necessary for a leader. Then at the end, we're going to do an exercise with yourselves. You're going to be able to put your input in on what you think is leadership makes a good leader. So let's begin. Next slide. So a leader, I love this quote from John C. Maxwell. It says, "A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." A good leader, as we see with this picture here, has a futuristic vision and knows how to turn their ideas into real world success stories. So next. So these are some of the traits that make a good leader. So we have this quote from the President Dwight D. Eisenhower, who said, "The supreme quality of leadership is unquestionably integrity. Without it, no real success is possible." So we have honesty and integrity. We have confidence. A leader should be confident, enough to gain the respect of their subordinates, the people that work under them, but not be overly confident, a fine line between confidence and arrogance, so that people trust and ensure that you are a leader that they want to follow. Inspire, when the going gets tough, the people that are under you, they look to see how you react to the situation. Are you staying cool, calm under pressure, or are you kind of losing it? People want to see that you can handle situations. Next. Commitment and passion, it helps to gain the respect of people that are working under you, and that passion that you really believe in something, you're fully committed. People see that. Again, they want to follow somebody who's motivated, wants to achieve the goal. Good communicator, making sure that you're communicating with your team. Words have the power to motivate people and make them do the unthinkable and effectively. And then decision-making capabilities. A good leader knows, they're going to take on decisions, but they also know when to look to key stakeholders to bring them in on the decision. Next. Arnold H. Glasso, I like this saying, "A good leader takes little more than his share of the blame and little less than his share of the credit." That fine line. We've got accountability. People do well when you give them a pat on the back, but if they struggle, make them realize and improve together. Delegation and empowerment. Obviously, delegation is important, and a leader know when to delegate tasks and empower the people that are underneath you. Creativity and innovation. A leader must be creative and innovative at the same time. Creative thinking, thinking outside the box. And finally, next slide. Finally, we have empathy and resilience. Empathy. Leaders should know to develop empathy with their followers, understanding the problems, feeling their pain, being that effective leader. But resilience, great leaders have resilience, have a positive attitude, instead of just when people complain about the problems, great leaders will think of solutions. And I really like this Nelson Mandela saying, "Do not judge me by my success, judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again." Resilience. Next. So we heard a little bit about what out there tends to be a lot of the traits, commitment, passion, empathy, honesty, integrity, creative thinking, as well as a futuristic vision are some of the traits that we saw here. But now you're going to get to have a say. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to have our interactive exercise. What traits make a good leader? And so finally, next, what you're going to do is you're going to go, you can use your phone, you can use a tablet, you can use an iPad, your laptop, anything that you have there that connects to the internet. You're going to type in menti.com, MENTI.com. It's going to ask you for a code. You're going to type in the 5324-1006, and then you have two chances or two choices to make when you think of a good leader. What traits are you thinking of? Are you thinking of some of the ones that we mentioned here? Honesty, integrity, accountability, empathy, resilience, or did we not even talk about one of the traits that you think is a good leader? Mention it now. There is no wrong answer. So again, I'm going to give everybody a minute or so to get on menti.com, MENTI.com, whatever mode you use to get onto the internet, that's how you're going to get here, menti.com, and then type in the code 5324-1006. And what do you think makes a good leader? So you can stop sharing, Stephanie, and I'm going to start sharing so we can see what people are thinking of. So let me just change screens here. Okay, is everybody connected? Or is anybody having any problems? Has anybody been putting in any of the questions? Oh, okay, let me just change screens real quick. One moment. Let me just change screens one moment. Okay, here we go. I just had to refresh. So we've got some people are, I like that, amor, love. We have a good listener, understanding, And just so you know, if several people are picking the same kind of word, that word will get bigger. So if you see that happening, that's why it's getting bigger. Effective listening, respect. That's a great one. Respect is really important. I'll give it a couple more, maybe 30, 40 more seconds. There we go. We've got transparency. Very, very important. Truthful. Honesty. Okay. Again, if you're wanting to go to there, it's right at the top, menti.com. Type in the 5324-1006, and then you're going to get 2 chances to put what you think is important. So we've got a couple people, as you see, compassion is getting larger. So that means that several people are picking compassion. So a lot of really good traits here. Good listener, compassion, transparency, respectful, good listener. Excellent, really good, great. So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute, and I'm going to see if anybody wants to take themselves off mute, put it in the chat, raise your hand to let us know why you picked the words that you picked, why they resonated with you. Yeah, why you chose those. So if we have anybody that wants to come forward, take yourself off mute and let us know why you chose the words you chose. I'm not seeing anybody wanting to take themselves off mute. No.
I could share mine,
Sure,
Tracy. One of mine was compassion. I think that, you know, in the last couple of years, we've been going through a really, really tough time with the pandemic. And I think it's really like tested us in terms of the resiliency. But I think more importantly, I think a lot of us have learned about having more compassion. And I think that makes a good leader, to be able to, one, be aware whether you have compassion or not, but two, is really to know that with compassion comes acceptance and respect. And, you know, a lot of these, they kind of like go together. So I just think that I've seen a lot more, especially here in the Antelope Valley, where people have stood up and really just let their hearts out and really were compassionate about taking people in and really helping people through this rough time.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. I'm sorry, did somebody take themselves off mute? Okay, I thought I heard somebody else. Okay, well, I thank you so much, everyone, for participating in the word cloud for what traits make a good leader. When we do send you the information today afterwards for the different slides and the slideshow, we will be sending you the word cloud as well, so you can really keep that in the forefront of your mind of what traits make a good leader and how it's important. And I'll turn it back over to Darrell. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tracy. Great. Yeah, it was worded very beautifully. I'm going to share with you all my screen again. Give me one moment. Next, we have Sylvia Scott. She's going to come. Uh-oh, I don't know why it went back to that, but let me get caught up. Give me one moment. Aha. There we are. Sylvia is going to come on and she's going to give you an overview of our First 5 LA and Best Start program. Sylvia, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Thank you, Darrell. You know, wanted to start off, as I said earlier, you know, we're now at a point where we're, you know, pulling our sleeves up and really starting to implement some of the stuff that we've learned through our different workshops. But I wanted to make sure that, you know, we have together we have an understanding of what First 5 LA is and what Best Start is. So I'll start off a little bit with that, and then I'll move forward into some of our framework and our structure. But we asked, who is First 5 LA? First 5 LA is really California's largest funder of early childhood initiatives. First 5 LA works to strengthen systems, parents, communities, so that children are ready to succeed in school and in life. And most importantly, that they meet their developmental goals from the prenatal age to age 5. Creating an integrated and coordinated system of services and supports to strengthen families and improve childhood outcomes has and will always continue to be the focus and value of First 5 LA to our children, to our families, and to the state's future. Some of the initiatives that First 5 LA funds include AIM, which is the African American Infant and Maternal Mortality Initiative, They also fund the Help Me Grow, the early identification and intervention strategy. And of course, they also fund our Best Start initiative. Next slide, please. So then we ask, who and what is Best Start? In 2017, First 5 LA began its exploration on how to deepen connections and trust between communities and systems that affect them. First 5 LA believed that working with parents and residents was critical, and that no one is more of an expert when it comes to the challenges that our kids and families face than the actual families in our community. Best Start AV work is a place-based initiative. This type of place-based work focuses on specific geographical area to address physical, social, structural, and economic conditions of a community that affect the well-being of families and the individuals who reside in this community. The Best Start regional networks are also important for catalyzing force for building and sustaining regional and local level networks of parents, caregivers, community leaders, organizations, and other allies working together as a network to advance community systems change priorities, reflective of the steadfast commitment to diversity, to equity, to inclusion, and to the anti-racism and readdressing anti-Blackness that's happening within our communities. And this aligns to the First 5 LA priorities, and it's spread out through 14 Best Start geographical locations. Best Start, the intent of Best Start is really to create a movement and authentically engage community members so that their wisdom and their lived experiences can help develop local solution to some of the challenges that exist within our community. Next slide. In the spring of 2018, through Best Start, First 5 LA invests in 14 geographic areas that have faced historic disenfranchisement and oppression through political, economic, social, and environmental factors that aggravate chronic family stressors, such as violence, such as poverty. And in spite of these realities, these sites are of great strength and resiliency, and for years have demonstrated that. For decades, champions and community leaders, along with parents of young children, have also been working together to create better futures for their children. An overwhelming body of evidence supports the idea that children thrive and that families will flourish in strong, safe, healthy, and engaged communities where people develop strong, lasting relationships to support each other and to act together to give children their best start possible. Next slide, please. So what's our pathway to change? What are the areas? What are we looking at to make this happen? You know, we start off with what is our North Star? The North Star here for Best Start and First 5 LA is that every child in LA County will reach their full developmental potential throughout the critical years of prenatal to age 5. The North Star grounds the focus on the importance of this window of, again, prenatal to age 5, to strengthen connections, to build resilience, and in closing, disparities that many of our children and families here in the Antelope Valley face daily. You know, one of the overarching goal to really be able to make some systems change is that we want to make sure that public systems, the most critical to children's development, from prenatal to 5, that they advance belonging and the justice for communities that experience these significant inequities. And what are we looking at to be long-term systems outcome? We want systems to be accessible, that they are connected, that they are aligned and they are seamless. We want systems that affect the communities and children and families to be equitable, that they eliminate systemic biases in mindsets and policies, procedures, and practices. We also want to see that systems are power sharing. That means that the communities, the parents, and public systems share the power in the development, the implementation, and the improvement of policies, procedures, and practices that impact us. We also want to make sure that they are well financed and that they incentivize the thought and the approach of a whole child, a whole family, and really looking at prevention being prevention oriented. So this pathway that we want to take will help guide and accelerate all that we do to make a tangible difference in the lives of children today and tomorrow. And it also articulates the commitment to making systems more family-centered and child-focused. Through continued collaboration with allies, with partners, with residents, with people of the AV community as yourselves, we want to share our aspirations for children. We will strengthen families and children through policy, through practicing change and public will building. We will bring more intentional equity focus on children and families, the disparities that they're facing, excuse me. Okay, next slide, please. Previously, Best Start consisted of 2 community partnerships, Best Start Palmdale and Best Start Lancaster. After a thorough discussion with the partnership, through meeting input, through surveys, and through other assessments, it was determined by the partnership and chosen to create one Best Start, a Best Start that was more inclusive of the residents of other areas of the Antelope Valley. The Antelope Valley does not consist of just Palmdale and Lancaster. And so having that thought in mind is how the new Best Start AV was developed. And in reviewing and updating our former charter and former partnership agreements, we wanted to make sure that we revisit that, because we want to make sure that it's now we have a new Best Start and a more solidified and a more inclusive Best Start. We want to be able to make sure that what we do and how we set up our structure and our framework, we really want to solidify that base based on your thoughts and your feelings of what we need to do within our community. Currently, our community change agendas are resource mobilization with an emphasis in early education and child abuse prevention. And those are the 2 community change agendas that we are currently following. Later on, throughout the work that we're going to be doing in the next couple of meetings, we will also address that. We will take a look back at our community change agendas and look at what we're doing, how we're doing it, and if this is where we want to continue. But one of the things we got to take a look at is we know that the threat of COVID brought the world together in unimaginable ways that have shown the humanity and resiliency that we all share. We collectively experienced something that we have not been through before, and the families of the Antelope Valley felt the effects of this uncertainty in a compounded manner. By March 16th of 2021, 1 year after LA County first issued its health officer order regarding the COVID-19 pandemic, cases and deaths continue to be concentrated in areas of lower income levels, communities of color like the Antelope Valley. But amid that turmoil, Best Start Partnership embraced compassion and came together to give families hope. Best Start supported over 500 residents and families in the Antelope Valley. And how did we do this? We provided meals, we helped with food banks. We also provided clinics for people to become aware and get vaccinated. We distributed over 2,000 COVID tests to our community. We also provided, we had opportunities where we could provide utility bill assistance. We also provided grocery cards to many families that were in need. So these are just a few of the things that we did during that time. And again, it just showed Best Start Partnership, its compassion, and really about working together within our community for our community. Next slide, please. So before we go any further into our structure and part of what we're going to be doing, I first want to introduce who we are in terms of your Best Start team. So Children's Bureau, the staff from Children's Bureau, Children's Bureau is our regional network grantee. We're the ones that were given the grant for Best Start. We are also in partnership with Antelope Valley Partners for Health. They are our local network consultant. And in 2021, we began a journey of reflection and evaluation of the structure and framework of Best Start. But before I get into that, again, let me just give you a little brief rundown of what our roles are as the RNG and what our roles are as the LNC. For the regional network grantee, some of our responsibilities include managing the grant with First 5 LA, includes fulfilling all administrative requirements and managing subcontracts with all partners. It means that we will support and help coordinate and maximize opportunities to connect the work of the community partnership within the region to each and other and to similar efforts at the local, regional, and countywide levels. We will also coordinate and support opportunities to bring together the community partnership in the region when cross-community efforts are needed in pursuit of common goals or in response of external policy or systems change endeavors. Next slide. In terms of our local network consultants, some of their roles and responsibility include supporting the development and implementation of communication strategies that build our partnership's brand and visibility regionally and locally. They will also support the development and implementation of strategies that facilitate social connections and engage parents and residents in the work of the community partnership. We will also support the ongoing planning, implementation, and reflection of projects identified by the community partnership to achieve the desired community change results. Next slide. You know, one of the things I'd like to acknowledge too is that within the last year, we have also had a lot of new partners and new residents join our Best Start table. And what that means is that we have more people coming in with their voice, with their experience and their wisdom. And this is vital for us to be able to move along the projects and the ideas that we want to bring in for our community here in the Antelope Valley. So having said that, it was really important for us to visit our former charter and to include the new community voices and new partners that are at the table so that their information, their wisdom can also be included in updating our charter. First of all, what is a charter? A charter is a partnership agreement that lays out the responsibilities of each partner in the relationship. It also includes rules on how we will make decisions and how we will manage potential goals and help avoid conflicts should it arise. And why is it important to have a charter? A partnership charter is a conflict prevention tool that is designed to help partners avoid the pitfalls and to plan for success. It is used to talk about difficult and seldomly asked and highly sensitive issues and to create guidelines and structures before those issues have a chance to result in conflict. The Children's Bureau and the AVPH team really wanted to evaluate the charter from 2019 to determine if the base, the structure, and the framework needed to be reviewed and updated by the partnership to reflect the current needs and the priorities of the community. We strategized and explored what approaches, what methodologies, what models and strategies we wanted to give our efforts to bring about systems change in the Antelope Valley. An important first step for our team was to revisit and create our planning team's vision for Best Start in the Antelope Valley. Over the next couple of meetings, we will take you through a journey. It's a process step by step so that we can together update and create a better charter for the Regions 5's AV Best Start partnership. And as you can see through here, these are the different levels that we really took a look at and really researched and found, according to the needs of the Antelope Valley, what best fits us. So that's how we wanted to really find that working format to develop our structure. And next slide, please. So as you can see, our current Best Start purpose is to cultivate community voice, the leadership and power to advance systems change. Children's Bureau and the AVPH team has spent the last 4 months developing a framework to help guide AV Best Start partnership going forward. This framework is still a draft, but we want to make sure that we share our thoughts about the ways that the Best Start partnership could approach community changes and systems change. As you can see here, our framework includes 3 components. The first one is our vision, you'll see in the center. The second is the approaches that we want to look at for creating our framework and our structure. And the third one is the outside circle, which is the strategies and methods that will support us and guide us in having those system changes happen. And one of the things that I want to make sure, if we can go to the next slide, is before going any further, today we're just giving you an overview. Today we're just giving you a broad look at what we've been working on and what we feel is needed in the Antelope Valley and how it can support your voice, your vision, and moving forward. As we move forward in other meetings, we will go further into detail on each specific thing, our approaches and the strategies and the methods, so that you'll have a clear understanding of what it is that will be supporting us to become a greater and stronger Best Start in Region 5. This slide, let's talk about what's at the center of our circle. Our team, which is AVPH and Children's Bureau, we created a draft vision. We felt that the vision was Antelope Valley families stronger together. Now, we've been living through some challenges time, and we're still in it. Through COVID, the Antelope Valley saw some of the highest cases and deaths of LA County. Low-income areas, communities of color, and rural areas like the Antelope Valley were some of the hardest hit. Now, some of these racial disparities can be varied. Some are based on structural racism, unequal access to affordable, healthy foods, unequal access to quality health care, more workers in essential jobs that can stay home, the transportation issues and shortage of resources to receive preventive care. But in spite of these disparities, the Antelope Valley community has demonstrated to be resilient. It was important for us to acknowledge that when we created our vision. The Children's Bureau and AVPH team had multiple brainstorming sessions because we wanted to make sure that we were addressing what First 5 LA wants us to achieve, as well as making sure that we were addressing priorities of our community. And part of what we wanted to revamp the vision was because we really wanted to make sure our framework, our structure, and the work we're planning on doing was aligned with our community change agendas. We worked internally to come up with a team vision statement about the impact we believe we will have in the AV. During the next agenda item, you will also have the opportunity to dream a little and create a vision for the impact you'd like to see in the Antelope Valley and that what we want to have here. Each member of our regional network grantee and LNC, local network consultant, wrote down what we envision as being the future and what we could see for AV Best Start families and children and what a positive impact could look like. We reminded ourselves that we are stronger together and that hearing that, it inspires us to pause and consider other people's point of view. Stronger together reminds you that you don't have to do things and figure it all out on your own, and that by collaborating with others, we'll get somewhere better than we could have imagined. Also, stronger together means that when we come together as a collective, we are also so incredibly powerful. We are moving talk to action. We want to break down walls of division. We want to bring people together in unity to learn, to talk, to work, and celebrate together so that our community here in the Antelope Valley may flourish. So we came together and we share our individual statements and then collectively put together what we came up as Antelope Valley Stronger Together. So that was part of what we saw in our vision. Next step, Darrell, is the next level includes our 3 approaches on what we think will help us attain that vision. We did a lot of research to identify the approaches we thought were a good fit for the Antelope Valley. And those 3 approaches that we will embrace are community engagement and organizing, systems change, and capacity building. Now, again, as we move forward in our next meeting, we will give you a clear understanding, a deeper dive into each one of these areas. By doing this, we will give everybody a clearer picture on how to move forward with the work.
Para seguir adelante con el trabajo que ha sido identificado de parte de ustedes y nuestro cambio comunitario de agenda. El siguiente nivel, la siguiente lámina, el último son las 4 estrategias que tenemos y utilizar para ayudarnos. Y eso es un desarrollo de las estrategias de la comunidad Es una estrategia de la comunidad popular y los métodos y el cambio de las condiciones para hacer un cambio de sistemas. Y cuando movemos
Antelope Valley team will walk through each strategy and method so that you understand what they are, but how they will also help us as a community achieve the goals that have been identified by you. And we will ultimately bring the vision into a reality. And how does this benefit you and I? Over the next couple of meetings, we will take you through the process step by step. Like I said, it'll be our journey. So we can together update and create a charter for the Region 5 Best Start Partnership. We will also continue to learn and utilize data to help bring more resources to our community. This will be done by utilizing the data we learned from projects such as the C3 survey, which many of you took part in. And this survey was about analyzing our network health. We will also be sharing those results with the community. We also have the State of the Child report, which also many of our partners and residents are part of this survey that's happening. This is going to give us and identify data of what is currently affecting our community today. And it will help guide us in either creating new community change agendas or it'll update our current ones. So as you see, there's a lot of work that we are going to be taking on for 2023. And I invite you to really just come on this journey with us. There's still a lot of learning, but there's already a lot that has been learned. With a lot of the workshops that we've done, you as a community already are starting to build your tool chest of skills and tools and your own wisdom and your own experiences, so that now we come together and do collective impact in our community and start moving the needle to really start seeing some changes within the systems that affect us, our families, and children of the Antelope Valley. And I'll hand it back to Darrell.
Thank you, Sylvia. So now we're going to just approach our purpose and our vision. And as Sylvia stated, our team worked for a couple of months on building this purpose and our vision statement, but we want to share with you what our CB and our AVPH team came up with as a purpose statement. And we want to make sure that we co-create one with the Best Start vision with you. So here we go. Our purpose, and this is so simple. We want to make sure you understand what is the purpose of our AV Best Start. So as an example, an organization's purpose or what their statement is very simple. It's straight to the point. It describes what the organization is here to do and why they're doing it. It's a headline. It's a bold statement. For instance, to cultivate community voice, leadership, and power to advance systems change. That's what the AVPH team and the CB team came up with. So it was very straight to the point. It's very potent. It's a headliner. So our vision statement is to help guide us through the process, to help keep us on point. It's to make sure that our efforts are in line with what we want to see. So we're looking to the future. We want to see, what do we want for our Best Start AV team 3 years out, 5 years out, 10 years out. We want to make a bold statement. We're not trying to make a paragraph, but we want a sentence. And it has to go in compliance with where we want to go. This is what we want to see happen. And this is what we're going to do to get there. So our AVPH team and our Children's Bureau team came up with this, as Sylvia shared. Antelope Valley Family Stronger Together. That's what we see. That's how we see it. We want to, 5 years out, let's say in 2028, we want to see the Antelope Valley stronger together with our families. I'm going to share some other examples of a vision statement with you, just so you get the idea of what we're looking for. The Alzheimer's Association, very simple. A world without Alzheimer's. Very concise, to the point. The Smithsonian's vision statement, shaping the future by preserving our heritage, discovering new knowledge, and sharing our resources with the world. So now now that we're here, what is it that you see? We've gone through our purpose. Now we want to hear from you all. How does the purpose align with what you would like to see for the Antelope Valley? Because it's about you, the Antelope Valley's voice. It's about the residents' voice. It's about you. And does this purpose reflect, is it reflective of all who live in the Antelope Valley? And the only ones who can tell us that are those who live in the Antelope Valley. So right now I'm going to stop sharing, or I'm going to extend this because I want you to be able to see all of this. You can come off mute, you can drop some answers in the chat box, but we want to hear from you. So how does the purpose align with what you would like to see for the Antelope Valley? Okay. So I'm going to do this. And again, it is our desire to make sure we're capturing the voice. So you can drop something in the mic, Tracy, in the chat box. Does anybody have anything they would like to share in the chat
Yeah,
box?
I don't see anybody, excuse me, actually Karen just
Hi,
put,
Karen.
Karen, hi Karen. She just said the collaborative component is key, stronger, together stronger.
Yeah. And I think that is so important because many of us, we have to represent everyone who lives in the Antelope Valley. So I see some of you that are there. Any more comments, insights, anything that resonates with you? No? Okay. Awesome, Blossom. Our team really worked together. We were thinking about our community because a lot of us, most of us live here and work here. And so we're really thinking about, is this in alignment for everyone that is represented, all families in the Antelope Valley? So that was that. Okay. So before we go on, we have a few seconds. I just want to, because that's a lot of information to process. Let's just be real about it. We just gave you a lot of information. We're going to go back over it, but in one setting, that's a lot. So take a few seconds. I know it's, in the evening time, getting ready, settling down. Just take a few minutes, shake your neck, roll your shoulders, come back. We want you present. Stand up, turn around, do what you got to do, get the blood vessels going one more time, just a little bit longer, because we have an exercise that we're going to do. And this is going to be a lot of fun. In our morning session, we were able to go into breakout rooms. So we're going to stay in this room and work together on our vision boarding. This is our mosaic, our vision mosaic for the Best Start AV. So we're going to bring it all in together and we're going to kind of do some brainstorming here. Is that okay, you guys? Everybody all right? Yeah, 2 thumbs up. All right, cool beans. So we want you to just kind of think about 3-4 years out, 5 years out, 10 years out, what we would like to see in the Antelope Valley. We're going to take you to the Jam board, and Stephanie or Sylvia, pull it up for me. And we're going to stay right here. Okay, the purpose is not the vision. I don't want anybody, is anybody confused about what the purpose is? Why we're doing what we're doing, and then our vision is what we see. So I want to make sure I'm being clear. Everybody good? Yay? Thumbs up? Okay, all right. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring up a vision mosaic. There are pictures on it. Pick a picture or two that speaks to what you see in the future for the Antelope Valley, for our families, for the residents here. And then we're going to put the pictures together and we're going to come up with a vision statement. We're going to see what concise vision statement, not a paragraph, but a sentence. Ours was, with the AVPH team and the CB team, was Antelope Valley Family Stronger Together. Very short, very concise, but we want to hear what your vision would be. So we're going to pull up the Jamboard, and we're going to pull up our mosaic. And from there, we will pick out the pictures that best describe the vision individually. You'll do it individually, and then we'll collectively come together and say, why did we pick those pictures? And what vision statement can we come up with together? So our team is here to help, and I'm going to stop sharing for just a second here. Boom. All right, let's pull up the Jamboard if we're able to. And at this point, everyone can come off mute. You don't have to be on mute. We're gonna talk about, ooh, somebody got the unity picture up there. So this is your mosaic. So from these pictures, you can see different aspects of life. Somebody got my unity. Could you move it? Unity out. Thank you. Thank you kindly. So please choose one that speaks to your vision of the Antelope Valley. And then let's talk about why you chose that one. So let me hear from Karen. Karen, which one would you choose?
I did choose unity. Sorry, I wasn't trying to fight with you over the unity picture.
Since you put the unity in front of the instructions, no. So unity is one.
We are
Okay.
united over our desire to have that unity picture moved. But yes.
Okay. All right. Great. 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 Anyone else? Let's see for my team. I know we picked earlier housing. Does anyone else want to talk about the housing? Why would that be important to us? Because we are in the Antelope Valley, last part of LA County, and that was a concern or a vision for our future families. Yeah.
Jarrell, this is Tracy. I know in the morning when we met, and I was in one of the groups, that was a concern that people brought up. They picked the homeless encampment picture on the picture above Unity, and that's a concern because people in the AV, we have a population up here that is unhoused, and that it's children and families, and so it's a concern that we have a population that's not housed. That's a concern.
Right. Are there any other pictures that you would choose that would speak to your vision for our community? Because we are going to put this all together and come up with just a brief statement. So what do you think, Joy? What would one picture or two speak to you about the Antelope Valley in the future? What would you like to see? Oh, maybe she can hear me. Joy, you with me? Oh, you muted. Hold on. Okay. I don't know if she could hear us. Oh, okay. So I couldn't hear Joy, but I don't know if her mic is working or not. Are there any other pictures that we would like to see or incorporate in our vision statement?
Someone in the earlier meeting chose a little girl with a cap. It represented our future
that's
because children represent our future.
Okay. Okay. Our children's future, that's important.
I think the mental health one goes actually with both the homelessness one and a little bit of the unity one. I think we need to be able to address that component if we're going to see some of the others to be successful. Even the education in the little girl. I mean, we think about what young people have gone through in the last couple of years, just to kind of, write that course for their educational path, making sure that the mental health is where it needs to be, I think is going to be a big factor.
I think that's a big factor. I agree, Karen. I agree. So let's go to let's go to our next page to see what we can write down. How can we combine our pictures, the unity, the children's education, housing, mental health? What statement, knowing those words, if we can even just write down those words, someone can type that in for me. We can use the sticky notes and just type in some of those words for me. Have access to that. Yeah, thank you. So unity and housing and right. That's one. What were some of the other ones? You all can come off or just put it in the chat so we can make sure we are capturing all of those.
Also, I want to mention, if you guys, I did share the link on the chat. So anyone that wants to write down the picture they chose, they could just click this button right here, sticky note, and then just type in what they want.
Awesome blossom. Awesome blossom, Steffi. You rock. You rock. Yep. The other one was mental health. Mhm. Did I miss a picture? Did I miss a picture? What else did I not capture? We've got unity, housing, mental health. Was there another one? No. Florida. Oh, okay. I have one. Thank you, Karen. Go ahead, Karen. Karen said, united in our purpose to promote more stable what was that? To promote more stable mental health, reduce homelessness, and achieve more successful educational outcomes to make the Antelope Valley a better community. Thank you, Karen. That's great. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to take these, and I would love any more input or comments, because we're going to take these, and as a team, we're going to put them together, because we have the morning sessions as well as this evening, and we're going to put them back together. Oh, I got you, Joy. I understand. No worries. So we're going to put them together. How many of you were in agreement with what the AV team came up with, the AVPH team and the CB team, Antelope Valley Family Stronger Together? How many of you really just like that particular vision statement? Just give me a thumbs up or raise your hand or a nod. Drop it in the chat.
You know, Drew, one of the things that we want to make sure is that as we move forward with creating our vision and creating the goals for Best Start here in the Antelope Valley, it is so vital that your voice and your opinion is what creates this. And having, you know, gone through the experience, we wanted to make sure that we as a team understood what this process was like before actually bringing it to the table for you. We wanted to see how that felt, what we came up with. But ultimately, at the end of the day, as Darrell's saying, we are going to put together what we heard in the morning, and then we're going to bring it back, and you are going to decide what the vision, because this vision is about you for the Antelope Valley. So please put any kind of other things that you would like to see added to this, throw it into the chat, or let us know, because it is so vital to hear your voice in all of this.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to move on. I think we have some things to work with.
Darrell, I'm gonna just add Karen's feedback right here, just so we can have.
Awesome. Okay. If we add that, and I think that's perfect timing. So what we'll do is we'll go back over that as a team, bring it back to you all. Is there anything else, Sylvia, you want to add to that?
No, I just encourage anybody else of our residents of our partnership to really just, and one of the things too is that if, as you're taking this back, and if you have a thought within the next couple of days or, until, as we end the meeting, please reach out to us. Let us know. We can always include this. We're gonna then bring them all together, and then you will choose which vision statement you as a community feel would be best. So there's time to still be able to, if you want to submit some of that. And I'll have Stephanie put in our email in the chat, where if you have other thoughts that you would like to share, you can also send them that way.
So right now, we're just going to go over our basic timeline. And this is the beginning portions. Like I said, we're just starting, and Sylvia really shared, this is the place where we're rolling up our sleeves, we're getting prepared to move forward, but we know that it's going to take a moment and let some of this digest with you as residents and stakeholders. So this is our outline of what we're planning to do. So in February, again, we're going to be meeting twice a month, the first and the third Thursdays of every month. And our time frame will go to 2 hours. So instead of an hour and a half, we'll be from 10 to 12 in the morning. And then in the evening, it will go to our 4 to 6. But this is a basic outline of what we will be looking at and how we will be progressing. This will be coming to you also in your email, so you will have a copy of this slide as well as the timeline. Okay. And I'm going to now turn this over to Tracy LaMonica.
Darrell, are you sharing your screen? I don't see, I'm not sure if you're sharing.
I'm sharing it.
Yeah, I haven't
You
seen.
haven't seen, you can't see it? Hold on.
No, not since we stopped with the interactive with the group.
Okay, let me go back here.
Okay.
Make sure you're sharing. I'm sharing my screen so you can see it. Boom. I might have just jumped off there for a second.
There we go.
There you are.
Okay. And so again, upcoming events, we have a lot of upcoming events starting in the end of January, February. As Darrell mentioned,
I got back to you. I'll get there.
Okay. As Darrell mentioned, we have our upcoming regional meetings, which are starting the first and the third Thursday. So that's excellent. You'll be having a chance to come at 10 o'clock and also at 4 o'clock. I'll just wait for you to catch up, Darrell.
Yeah, I got to catch up, girl. My screen went south for the summer.
And what we have upcoming is our trauma-informed masterclass. So I know a couple people here have attended the first one in the earlier part, or excuse me, the latter part of last year. Now we have the masterclass coming. It is completely filled. So we actually have 200 people signed up. So we're super excited about that. That's going to be starting January 25th. The policy committee, again, I know Karen's on that. I know we have a couple of people here that are going to be attending it. That is a committee that's an offshoot of the larger regional group. So if you're interested in that, I'll put my email in the chat. That will be starting January 25th, and it's going to delve into policy. So if that's something of an interest to you, we'll be meeting the last Wednesday of the month at 2 o'clock. It's an hour committee. And as I mentioned, it starts on the 25th. My colleague Stephanie put in the chat the link tree, which you can access any of the upcoming events, except for, like I said, the masterclass is closed. Our diversity, equity, and inclusion, that's starting February 3rd. That's going to be a 6-session going from February, March, and April. So it's 6 sessions, and that is on Fridays. And so that's going to be starting on February 3rd. And then finally, we have, yay, the Policy Leadership Academy. I don't mean to pick on you, Karen, but Karen just finished the cohort 2. We're starting cohort 3. We have some fabulous speakers. I'm super excited. It's going to start February 7th, and it's going to go for 12 Tuesdays. So it meets every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30. And we've got some great speakers. We have Andres Chavez, who is the grandson of Cesar Chavez, who's going to talk about civic engagement. we have our, thank you, Karen said it's well worth attending. Thank you so much. We've got our Congressman Mike Garcia of the 27th District. We have our newly elected Assemblyman, Juan Carrillo. So that's super exciting. He used to be the city councilman over in Palmdale. Now he's our newly elected Assemblyman. He'll be speaking. We also have Ken Mann, that's the Lancaster City Councilman. So it's really delves into not politics, policy. And so we will talk about civic engagement, public participation, really talking about ethics. We have a super exciting ethics speaker. He's actually coming to us from Cal State Bakersfield. He's actually the chair of the political science in Bakersfield, and he's done a lot of work in Kern County, Bakersfield area. So again, if that's of an interest to you, that will be starting February 7th. We do have room. And again, the commitment would be every Tuesday from February 7th to the 25th. So 12 Tuesdays. And again, those are what we have coming. So if those are of an interest, you'll be getting the flyers. The links are all embedded on the flyers, or you can access all of our upcoming events through our link tree. So thank you so much. And thank you for joining us this evening. Send it back to Darrell.
Okay, I'm going to go back just briefly to our timeline. So I want to make sure this resonates with everyone. In February, we're going to be going back over our orientation framework, our partnership structure. Sylvia, did you want to jump in on this part right here?
Sure. Thank you, Darrell. Yeah, we're going to continue with our framework and really delve deep into it. And we're also going to be creating our, working on our charter. We want to work on membership and what that looks like. We also want to talk about some of the committees that will help guide us and do some of the work within the community. And the other thing is that this seems like a lot in terms of February, but we really are going to focus on a lot on values and agreements. But we also, as we said earlier, the meetings will now be held twice a month. Just really, our journey really requires a lot of work on our behalf, and we are so grateful that you take the time to do that. But our meetings will go 2 hours, and especially in the evening, the partnership, some of you as well voted that we will do it from 4 to 6, and I think that might help when we're doing such heavy work. So we encourage you to do that. And one of the things that is also we're looking at, most likely the second meeting in February, we will be trying to go hybrid, which means we will be able to have the meeting where people can attend in person, or some people will still attend via Zoom. So we're really looking at putting that together and that coming down the pike. And again, just really encouraging everybody to participate. We will also be sharing this deck. We will be sharing any of the information that we spoke about with you. And stay tuned, because for our next meeting, we'll be sending you a couple of little worksheets that are going to be little bit of a homework, not anything major, but really when we're talking about values, we want to make sure that we create values for the AV Best Start that really reflect you and our community. So stay tuned for some of that. And if you can go to the next slide, I'd like to just take the opportunity to really take a look at what we covered. I know today that there was a lot of presentation, and and that at this hour can also be really heavy. And again, thank you for bearing with us. But as you take a look at this, like we keep saying that this charter, this Best Start work is about you and for you. Is there any one word that really resonated with what was discussed today? Is there one word that stands out from maybe just even in doing the vision? And if there is something that stood out to you, I'd love to see the one word in the chat, or if you're willing to get yourself off mute and really share that with us, we'd love to hear that. So I'm seeing community. Yes, definitely. Anyone else? We say one word, but if there's something, like a statement that basically stands out, you can say that too, or if you want to share it. and we'll leave the chat open so that if you want to go ahead and continue, share with us. And then I'll send it back to Darrell.
Awesome. Okay, well, we're coming to the conclusion of our meeting, but we would love for you to follow us. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Linktree. So any of those places, you can find out what's going on, keeping abreast to what progress we are making, as well as find out what is happening in the community, because we do like to upload community resources and events on our Facebook page and our website. That concludes our meeting. Thank you for coming. You could have been anyplace else, we know, but I'm so glad you joined us tonight. Thank you. And everyone have a great evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone. Good night. Good night, everyone.